Got my fake arm sleeve tattoos. I got my fake $1 gold chain. I got my fake gold watch. I did this all just to mess with my mom, so yeah. So how much did it actually cost? Before we start, I recently updated the entire shop. We have new hats, we got new slides. This shirt's not available anymore, but we have a whole bunch of new designs, 20 plus, almost 30 plus, a lot of new designs. Go ahead and check it out at pivotalsupra.com. But while you're really here, is to know how much did it cost for me to get this Supra to where it's at today. So we'll start off with a very basic, how much did the car cost? It cost me $1,700 to get the Supra. It's a 200,000 mile car, it's an automatic, it's the most base model, and it had some engine issues and I'm still working through them, but it does run and drive right now. So $1,700. The next thing I did was I went and bought flares for the cars, and those cost me $600. I bought them from JP Fiberglass, and they're flares made for a BMW E36 Rocket Bunny, as I'm sure you guys know. In addition, I also bought the Ducktail at the same time, which that was another $165, and that one is made for a Supra. I bought a Ducktail for my previous Supra that was made for a 240, and it just doesn't fit right, so a Ducktail is one where you kind of need to take a little more time to make sure you get the right piece. And this one, they had one available, so I went ahead and bought that. Now, the most expensive part of this whole build, as you can imagine, is wheels and tires. Wheels cost me $925, and the tires cost me $620. I think the cost amount was maybe $100 if that, so I added another 100 on top of that. Now, I did minimal work on the inside, but I did some nonetheless. The steering wheel cost me $50. I think just a bit under, but to be safe, we'll say it's $50. That included, I reworked the steering wheel, or I had a friend re-weld the steering wheel, so that cost me nothing, but that was just the cost of taking it apart, shrinking the size, and welding it back together. Then I bought the Alcantara, and I went ahead and did just a carbon fiber wrap instead of actual carbon fiber because that was just a bit too expensive for something that I knew was going to be a first time try and a little bit of a jank job. So that was $50. Now for the rest of the interior, paint-wise, $25 at most. To change the color of the interior, I just used a primer black. I've used spray paint on multiple different cars' interiors. Yes, it takes a while to off-gas, that part is annoying, but it works really, really well. It's the cheapest option to do a black interior. The seats I had for my other Supra, so those were free. Now for the center console, I have the touchscreen. That one was sent to me for free. I think those are about $200, $250, if I remember correctly, but that one was sent to me, so I'm not gonna count the cost of that in the car. Same with the LED interior lights, those were given to me, so I'm not counting those as well. Now, front splitter. The front splitter cost me about $25. I'm saying $25 because I bought the sheet metal for $50 a sheet. I used less than half the sheets, so let's just say $25 to be fair. The struts themselves cost about $5, so that was really cheap on Amazon. The side skirts, as you guys know, I made a $5 side skirt video. The gutters themselves are $5. I had to buy two. It's just, you know, getting views. So the side skirts themselves cost me around $25. So I use another sheet metal, the same type of sheet metal that I use for the front splitter. I also use $5 Home Depot gutters, and then I think the bolts cost about $5 to get it all mounted in, and then I had rivets lying around. Those are negligible, so I'm not counting them in the main event or in the main price. The exhaust was a little expensive. It was about $500 just for a Catback system. If you guys remember, I did have headers. Those were free to me, but I ended up taking them off anyway because they just didn't fit right. If any of you guys know headers for the Mark III Supra with the 7M engine, there are two brands. One is good, one is not good. I had the not good ones. Luckily, it didn't cost me any money, but I ended up taking them off anyway, so I'm not even gonna count that. Cold air intake, I'm not gonna count that one either because that one was given to me and it doesn't make a difference to the car. And the final thing was the coilovers. I spent around $150 on the coilovers. They're really, really cheap, but they do exactly what I need because I want to drive this car on the road more than I'm trying to do tracking with it. I got a deal with them as a part of a promotion for another company. I think they're $350 to $400 in total if you're gonna buy them stock. So they are fairly cheap coilovers, but I've run this style a bunch of times in the past with other cars, and I really like the fact that it's super, super comfortable to drive daily. It's actually more comfortable to drive the Miata with this. So, and the one final thing is paint, and that cost me around $550 to $600. So is this a good or bad price for a car? Well, I actually think this is a really good price. Now, there are things that are going to be annoying. Wheels and tires are always going to be the most annoying thing to buy. They're cool to buy, but they're always the most expensive in every part of my build because you can't really get around running stock wheels on a widened car, and I'm running a more inexpensive type wheel and tire setup, and it still cost me over $1,000. And so that is never fun, but it's kind of the situation that you have to put yourself in if you're going to a wide body. If you looked at this car and said, hey, this is a $5,000 car, it fairly accurately reflects that. It's all DIY work. It's all done by myself. in a garage. None of it is professional to any extent or any stretch of the imagination, but it does everything that I want it to do, which is exactly where we want it to be with this project. So I wanted to do this to be completely honest with you, to let you guys know where I stand in these projects, how much it's costing me in relation to what it might cost someone else to do. Now, would this car win any shows? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. I'd get beat out by any base model Mark IV, Mark V Supra in a Toyota category any day of the week. But I built this to what I wanted to do. I wanted to enjoy it, and more importantly, I wanted to try working on cars, because I think that's the thing a lot of people miss out on, is the fact that you build a car to learn how to build a car, to try to work on a car to learn skills that you don't have, instead of trying to build something that's just for shows and just professional. So a lot of people don't like what I do, a lot of people like what I do. There's always going to be a split, but I enjoy what I do, and so I'll continue to do it. And with that, we got another project coming up, so it's time to get to work.